Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma Lefebvre, and today I am trying out handmade watercolors from a small Etsy shop called KMS Watercolors. So I have never tried real handmade paints before, and any chance to support a small business I am all for, so let's try them out for the first time. Okay, so today we are trying out handmade watercolors, and I have never tried out handmade watercolors from a small Etsy shop like this. I'm very excited. KMS Watercolors reached out to me, asked if she could send me some stuff, and I'm so excited because, first of all, the presentation looks beautiful and professional. She also sent me a handmade card, which was so nice. So let's jump in and see what she sent. So first of all, cute little tin. I love that you can see inside. Okay, so she sent me a sampler of her metallic collection, which looks awesome. And I checked out her Etsy and she has a bunch of different samplers, so definitely check those out. And they're all very well priced. And then she sent me all these pans. Okay, first of all, one thing I love about like little independent handmade watercolor companies is that they like get to name their own watercolors, and they are so stinking cute. So let's open these up and then we can start swatching. Okay, so now we're gonna test them out. Off the bat, these colors are absolutely stunning. I'm obsessed, especially with this like sage and this green. I've dedicated one of my Paul Rubens sketchbooks to swatching starting now. So I'm gonna be swatching them all in here. This is a good way for me to keep track of my swatches. So let's start. Ooh, they activate really nicely. Okay, so now while we're waiting for these to dry, let's talk about the first impressions of this paint. Opening this package up was such a delight. These paints look so beautiful, and one thing I really loved is that she put a magnet at the bottom of each of the pans so they stick in the tin and they're not moving around. She also wrote the color name on the side so you can just throw away the wrapper once it's all unwrapped. And overall, these colors are filled to the brim They are nice and matte and just so beautiful. And they smell really good too. I'm not sure what it is, but it smells so, so good. So this set is so beautiful. I'm actually really impressed with these handmade paints. The metallic sample card is absolutely gorgeous as well. These are glued to the card, so you can just use them off here. But I'm so impressed with the packaging, the overall look, and actually the way they perform. So now let's talk about our swatches. So for the metallic set, I'm really impressed in how quickly they activated. The silhouette doesn't seem as metallic, but it's still a nice, a bit of a shiny gray. I'm in love with this pink champagne color. I don't think I have had a metallic paint like this. The names are super cute, like C3PO. Love this gold, love the bronze, love the champagne. I think these are like my favorite. And then even the diamond and the platinum are just so beautiful. So these are really nice and pigmented and such a great little starter kit. So, I mean, if you can get yourself some of these, also supporting small businesses, I highly recommend them. I can't wait to actually use them in a painting. And then as for our matte colored paints, they're beautiful. I love the colors. So what I did notice, and I wasn't sure if it was the paper or not, they do look a little granulated, which is not necessarily my preference most of the time. I do like more like a flat wash, like these first three. But some of these look a bit more granulated. So I didn't know if it was the paper or not. So I did try it on just a scrap piece, and they are in fact pretty granulated. But you know what? I actually don't mind it. Like these colors, especially the sage is not as granulated, but the canopy leaves, I really love the color of it, so it doesn't bother me as much, and I'm dying to kind of just play around and see what I can paint with these. But some of them are a bit more granulated. So looking at them, the blue bonnet one is, puddle, macaw a bit, the canopy leaves, a little bit of the rosewood, mixed berry, oh ship is, and then the others seem pretty flat, which I usually prefer, but it's actually kind of nice to have a mix of both. Colors that are really popping out at me. I was so impressed with how bright this raspberry sour pink is. It's neon. It is so cool. And same with this purple. And one thing I really liked about all these paints is that they activated like that, like so quickly. So now that I've kind of swatched them, I actually want to play around and paint something with them. So I'm going to get out some of my higher quality paper and let's see what we can do with these. Okay, so now to really test out these paints, I'm gonna do a couple small paintings. I want to do a floral up here and then maybe like a little mini landscape. I'm not unfortunately gonna be able to use all of the colors, but I will use some of the ones that I'm drawn to the most. So for my floral painting, I'm really feeling like these kind of fallish vibes. It's just kind of what I'm gravitating towards. So we're gonna do some like fall kind of florals, even though it's the dead of summer and super hot out. I'm really loving this rosewood color. It's so pretty. So I'm trying to just get a feel for the difference that you can get with the contrast and in light and dark washes to see how they react. I do notice that these are pretty granulated, which is usually not my jam. Not a big fan of granulated paints. If you don't know what granulated paints are, they just have more texture to them. They look a little like sandy almost, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's try and mix. I'm gonna mix this red and this yellow, see what we get here. Yeah, they're pretty granulated, but they're still pretty. And I forgot to mention when I was opening them, they have this amazing smell to them. It's almost like a cloves smell. I don't know. They're beautiful though. They smell great. But yeah, as you see them start to dry, you will notice the granulation a bit more. Also, I forgot to mention, I am painting on 50% cotton Paul Rubens watercolor paper. Also with granulated paints, I notice that the colors tend to separate a bit more. So you're not going to get those smooth blends or bleeds that you would with some other paints. Not in every case with granulated paints, but I've noticed with some, even my Winsor Newton, what's it called? The ultramarine blue is quite granulated. And I always thought it was like defective or something because it wouldn't mix well with others. It's not defective, it's just a granulating paint. So they kind of separate a bit more, which you either love or you don't. So it's kind of up to you and your preference. But I know of a lot of people who love granulating paints. So if you do, Handmade Watercolors might be for you. And I don't know if this goes for all Handmade Watercolors. I don't know a whole lot about them. So don't take my word for that they're all going to be this kind of texture. But from my experience with these, they are kind of granulating. But it's not all colors either. I find the bright, like kind of neon-y colors. I do have another set of handmade paints that are just neons from another Etsy seller, which I am going to do a video on as well, and they are not granulating at all, but I wonder if it's like the mixture of the neon pigment. Actually, let's do this sage color. I love this color. So pretty. And it feels quite opaque too, this sage color. So pretty. I think this is my favorite color in the whole kit, the whole palette. I'm a lover of green, if you don't know that. Green is my favorite color in the world. Let's grab some of the canopy green. Add some in there. I wonder if I can make it a bit darker with this brown. I'm also going to try and mix some of the colors to see how they mix together. I feel like I should add another flower down there. I like this honey color too. It's like a yellow ochre. There we go. Add a little bit of red in there at the tips. Oops. Our green. So I am getting some color bleeds, and they're not bad. Let's actually see how some of this lifts as well. Okay, it lifts a bit. So one thing I'm really enjoying about these paints is the presentation and the packaging, which you can tell it is made with care and love, which is, I think, is what the point of kind of, you know, buying handmade items are, and handmade paints. It's like someone has really cared for and taken the time to make some beautiful products. So that's one thing I really am loving about these paints, is that you can tell that someone really put their heart and soul into them, and the packaging and just how cute they are and thoughtful, which also, handmade paints are not easy to make. Like, these take a lot of time to do, and a lot of effort. So the prices, I actually have to check. I can't remember how much they're selling for, but I know that it might be a little bit of a ugh, you know, when you look at some prices of handmade items, but someone's really putting their time and effort and their skills into their products. So that's kind of where you kind of judge the prices. So if you're all up for handmade items, I definitely suggest these. They're so cute. And she has tons of other colors too, so just keep that in mind. I'm gonna... Cute. Okay, I like it. I think these would be really cute for cards. Just has a really nice homey kind of quality to it. This rose is bugging me just a little bit though. There we go. Okay. So there's the florals. And then I thought I'd do like a little desert kind of scene. Nothing like too, what's it called? Detailed. We're just gonna kind of play around. Let's get this blue color, which is lavender blue for the sky. And I think the granulating paints will actually work way better with a landscape painting opposed to florals necessarily. I really like a smooth look for my florals, but landscapes, you have like dirt and grass and all this texture in landscapes, so it kind of goes with that vibe a bit more. And I know a lot of landscape artists, I can't speak today, are the ones who really tend to gravitate more towards granulating paints. So there. Okay, let's lift some of this color to get some clouds. Like that. Okay, then I'm gonna use this rosewood for like this deserty kind of floor and the yellow. This is gonna be more of a loose landscape. I do want to leave some spots for like some, what's it called? Cactuses. Cactuses. A bit of brown in there. More yellow, got a bit of green. Maybe we can do some mountains in the back. Okay, it's pretty loose. All right, I'm gonna wait for that to dry and then I'm gonna do some cactuses over. Actually, I'm gonna take up some of the paint. Like that. I know it looks weird, but it'll make sense after, hopefully. And I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm gonna take some of that canopy color and I'm gonna do some cactuses over. I don't think I've ever done a desert before. And I'm not working from a reference photo, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm gonna blend it out a bit at the bottom here. Make it a little darker. Should I do another little? That's the way a cactus looks, right? I don't know if you can see from there, but there is quite a lot of granulation in this, and it actually looks quite cool for the landscape. bottom. I'm gonna grab some of the sage color and do like a little bit of those prickly grass kind of things. Maybe a little bit of a sharper horizon kind of line so you can distinctly see those mountains in the background. I don't know if this looks any good, but it's something. Gonna do a bit more, sharpen up those mountains just a little, maybe a bit of yellow. Clearly never painted a desert before. It's fine. Just really trying to get, doing some dry brush so I can get a bit more texture. Maybe a bit more lighter yellow. Okay. More prickly kind of things back here. You know what, I'm gonna do one down here, but make it bigger. Then I'm gonna grab the sage color, do some lines. I don't know if this is turning out. I feel like I gotta get a bit darker green in here. I mean, it's not bad. And there we go. There is our desert landscape. And because I was given these metallic watercolor samples with it, I think I'm gonna add some into this desert landscape because why not? So I'm gonna use this bronze for the mountains, like a bit of the dirt, which I think is gonna add something really cool. Just a little bit of shimmer. Maybe a bit of the gold. And I wonder if I can get some of this black for some darker areas. Just for a bit of shadow. But yeah, there we go. So my final thoughts on these paints are that they're a really nice, like, handmade item to have. I don't think these would be my everyday watercolor paints to use, just because they are so super granulated, and that's not really something I enjoy too much in my paintings, especially my florals. I just find it just adds some texture that I'm not too fond of, but the colors are beautiful, and You know, the amount of effort and love that went into these paints are just so nice, and I love having them, and they might be something fun to bust out every once in a while. But if you do enjoy granulating paints, I do suggest these, and also supporting small businesses. So those are my final thoughts. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it, and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.